Process show. Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Tuesday, September 25th. Every day is the same, man. I can't keep track of
Sure
it.
is.
It's I mean I can keep track of it. Obviously, it's really easy to do, but I'm just I wake up every morning and it's like, oh, cool, another baseball slate that doesn't matter. Is there any football on tonight? No. Okay, it's just baseball.
Yeah, pretty much, man. You're at a point now where you're just waiting for football to come each Sunday,
Yep.
and you're waiting for basketball to get here. Which, look, basketball is going to be here sooner than you know it.
I
So
can't
start
wait.
putting the research in now. I know. I'm going to put out some. I do some spreadsheets each year on like all of the notable additions and subtractions from each team, like primers and stuff like that. So I'm going to start working on them soon, and
Nice.
I'm looking forward to it. Uh, yeah, it's weird when you're looking forward to doing work. So that's when you know it's we're ready for the transition.
It's so hard to call it work because I would do
It
that
really
exact
is.
same thing whether or not it was my job. In fact, I
Yeah,
did. I used to do it at my job.
yeah, yeah. Actually, it is weird to enjoy it though. I mean, you're right. It's work, but it's highly enjoyable work.
It really is. Like I'm oddly excited to update my NBA database with all of the rookies and stuff coming in, and I have to go and grab like birth dates and assign positions.
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
it's so tedious, but I'm just gonna throw on some music, put on some headphones, and just like grind it out, and then let my projections rip, and then I'm just ready. I cannot wait for the NBA. I'm so excited to talk about it, just because I'm tired of talking about baseball,
Yeah, dude, me too.
especially now
I,
with these slates that they're running out and these garbage players that are playing. It's like the last 2 weeks of the NBA season. You're getting weird ass dudes.
there were 8 pitchers under 5,000 yesterday on a 12-game slate. Like, it's outrageous at this point. And the funny thing is, man, I nailed all my pitchers, and I went off the board with some of them. You know, we went with Dylan Covey and you didn't even have to go off the board unless you went Strasburg, who couldn't get out of fourth inning. He went four, but like, Kluber was great. I'm assuming. I think last I looked, Pena finished with solid numbers. I was watching Monday Night Football. I said, I've had enough of this
Yeah, you went
baseball.
deeper than I would have expected.
Yeah. Yeah. Covey had a really solid game. I even had a couple Brian Mitchell lineups in there, and he was at like 20 points the last time I looked.
Oh, do
But
you want the real
my
answer
hit
for that? He had 30. You want to know how much Brian Mitchell I
did
had
he?
last night? 25%.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I think I only played 10 lineups. I think I had 2 of 10 Mitchell and like 7 of 10 Covey. Went overboard a bit. But honestly, my bats just decided that they weren't looking to play baseball yesterday because they decided that maybe stacking the top of the lineup for Houston was better than the bottom. And that's the thing, man. Baseball is just like I had a couple McCann lineups, but the dude has no power left at all. Like, he had 5 home runs on the year and like 3 doubles coming into last night. And Gaddis is batting, a spot ahead of him in the order, isn't much more expensive. And he's got power against the righty. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's the better play. But of course, McCann is the one that homered. And then Reddick goes back to back. So the 2 lefties homer off of him. And JD Davis, who I had a ton of, singled off the top of the wall. Like, it was one of those nights. So
Yeah,
my showdown lineups made up for it.
yeah, last night was weird in that stacking was pretty clearly not the play.
Yeah, tell me.
I'm looking at the scoreboard right now, just of the top scoring guys. Diamondbacks, Red Sox, Nats. These are individual players, just their teams.
Uh-huh.
D-backs, Red Sox, Nats, Pirates, Dodgers, Yankees, A's, Nats, Padres, Angels, Rain. Like, you're not getting 2 or 3 guys up at the top. So all of like all the great pitching calls in the world, but you were getting 2 guys in every stack probably that were garbage.
Yep, exact. That's pretty much what happened. Um, and like I know there were a lot of people that were jamming in Strauss and Kluber, and that wasn't really the ticket either because Strasburg didn't get it done. But
Nope.
it kind of didn't matter anyway. Like, you just needed, I don't want to say needed, but if you did go with Mitchell or you did go with Covey, you're sitting in a really good spot pairing them with Kluber. It's just the hitters weren't there, and I haven't like. All right, so what do we have, a 15 gamer? Is it a 15 gamer again?
14
Not
today.
14 games. 14.
Either
Yeah.
way.
Right. Same thing. It's just I'm having trouble. Like I think I have like 4 days of baseball work left, and then we get to focus exclusively on football and basketball. And look, just complete transparency here. I'm really looking forward to that. At this point, baseball, like a writing. Let me put it to you this way, John. This is why baseball, and the same thing happens to basketball late in the year too. So this isn't just what sports specific. What happens is with baseball, you're writing an article or like you're doing a show in the morning, and you're essentially guessing you can't evaluate players appropriately because you don't know what the lineup against them is going to look like if teams are going to run out their AAA squad or a skeleton crew because they've been eliminated, or they run out their normal team. Like, you really don't have much of an idea. So you're just guessing more than you ever would be during the regular or the middle of the season. And it takes away it takes away a lot from it when you have to wait until all of these lineups are released to really have a good idea of what's going on to begin with.
Yeah, it's certainly making the mornings, we'll say, less valuable than normal. I don't want to put people off of being like, well, I'm not going to listen to these assholes in the morning. But I mean, it's kind of true. We had 3 separate guys throughout the day yesterday that were supposed to start for the Yankees. So, what are you supposed to do there? Analysis changed 3 separate times. I woke up thinking I was going to mash the Phillies, and then the Rockies switch starters from a lefty to a righty. So, like, everything just kept changing in opportune spots, and all you can do is just sort of shrug and think, okay, this is going to be like the NBA. I just need to be here from 6 till 7, and I'm good.
Yeah. Look, it's not to say the morning shows don't still have plenty of value. They do,
yeah.
right? Because you still have, you still have Kluber, and you still had Covey. You still have a lot. But actually, you didn't have Covey because Covey wasn't in play until Cleveland ran that lineup out there.
Yeah, very true.
But no, look, it is what it is. You got 4 days left. Well, I think we go through Sunday, so you got about 6 days left, and there it is. But you still have big contests. You still got to talk about it. You still got to do it. But with football, with week 3 of football, have you ever seen through the first 3 weeks? And I'm sure we have, but I just don't remember it. I can't remember the last time I've seen so many head-scratching performances in a single week. Like, I went back, and actually it was brutal, but I watched a lot of that Buffalo Minnesota game.
Ooh. Because
I know. It actually didn't take long. You watch it where it's just, play, right. No commercials, no setting up in between, just go. Because I wanted to know, how does this happen to Minnesota? Like, how do you lose that bad, right, at home as 16.5-point favorites? And it became very evident that Kirk Cousins and the offense was the cause. The turnovers were unbelievable. The Buffalo Bills got pressure and forced fumbles, forced bad throws, forced interceptions, forced him to make mistakes, kept putting themselves in good positions. And yes, I'm going to say this. I didn't think I would say this season, but Josh Allen looked like a poised NFL quarterback, was hurdling defenders.
I saw that. That was incredible.
Yeah, and actually looked poised and confident. That team had a little bit of momentum going for them after that first touchdown, and they just routed Minnesota. No skull chance out there in Minneapolis, which is happy for me to see. It was incredible. It's very, very difficult to seriously though. Tell me it isn't difficult to envision a way in which Minnesota loses, not just loses, but loses by like 21 points. Or 19 or 21 points, whatever it was. It's just crazy.
No, you never see that sort of game script coming. Like Cousins threw 55 balls on Sunday.
55. Yep. Yeah. Adam Thielen. I have my snap and target sheet pulled up. I'm going to tweet it out in the after the shows if you guys want to look at it. It has snap count, snap percentage, target, market share. I added red zone looks and red zone targets, and I added all of the previous weeks to it. But
Nice.
yeah, it's helpful. Put it in one spot. I like having everything in one spot. But dude, the Vikings, Josh, Thielen had 19 targets. He still had a 35% market share on 55 attempts.
That's insane.
Crazy.
And like
crazy.
19, that's so many targets. I mean, that's going to happen when you throw the ball 55 times. If I like
Kamara had 20.
Okay, so Cousins threw 55 balls. If before that game started, I said he threw half of that, would you have thought that was high or low?
No, I would have thought it was high. I mean,
right.
Honestly, the way I saw this game going is Cousins throws 25, 27 times. Something like, yeah, so I'd say half of that would have been appropriate.
Right.
Not high or low. If you were to give me a set an over under, I probably would have put it at like 26. I think that's fair. So yeah, half of 55 still what, 27 and a half?
Yep.
So yeah, there's no way. I mean, Latavius Murray had like one carry on the day. It was the script was flipped on its head entirely. And everyone outside of Thielen, I guess Rudolph got that garbage time touchdown, but when football games head in that direction, when teams like, okay, maybe there's the possibility in which Buffalo plays them competitively. Like I could have seen that. They're 0-2, come in, get off to a good start, make a statement, and then lose in the end, right? You see that a lot with the Browns, with Buffalo, with a lot of bad teams. They stay competitive till the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case. I mean, Minnesota wasn't competitive for a single moment of that football game.
No, it was over from minute one. It's crazy. It's so crazy.
You have to wonder, like, is that Buffalo and is that Minnesota? My answer to both would be no. I think Buffalo is still a pretty rough team. I think their defense is better than they played through the first 2 weeks, and that's why they kind of buoyed out Josh Allen's performance. But this is the process show, so we kind of break down the way we're looking at things. That forces me to at least analyze Minnesota a little bit further and ask myself, like, is the offensive line going to be an issue as it was last season? Is Minnesota going to struggle against teams with good pass rushes? Are they as good as we thought? I still think their defense is very good. Once again, their Cousins in the offense didn't set the defense up very well.
No.
But you have to at least have that question in the back of your head when you're looking over week 4, when you're looking over week 5. What do we expect from this Minnesota team? The positive is that Adam Thielen is Kirk Cousins' clear favorite target, and no matter what the game script, no matter how the game flows, he is locked into a lot of targets no matter what.
Yeah, I had Thielen as my 100-yard pick week 1 in our Live Before Lock show, and that didn't go very well. But if he's going to get 18, 19 targets a game, I think I might have a shot.
Yeah, I think so. What is this? What is it? The 100-yard?
Yeah, so during our baseball Live Before Lock shows, we all pick who we think is going to hit a home run, and just contest between everybody. So we were looking for something to do NFL wise. So we're picking who do we think will get either 100 yards rushing or 100 yards receiving.
Okay.
And I picked Thielen in week 1. Didn't work out. I had whoever I had in week 2 was correct, but I can't remember anything from week 2 because I was in Asheville and not home. And then this week I didn't get it again. I took your boy Nelson Aguilar.
This week?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Let me give you a few interesting nuggets from that game because this will blow your mind.
Okay.
So Carson Wentz returned.
Yes.
And made a couple mistakes. He was a little bit rusty, but then he made some brilliant plays too. Like what he does with his legs is outrageous. and he's the reason they won that game. I feel pretty confidently in that. But if you look over the numbers from this game, you will be. I'll tell you right now. So the Philadelphia Eagles, Carson Wentz threw 37 times against the Colts. He targeted wide receivers in 7 of those attempts. 7 attempts to wide receivers on the entire day.
Fantastic.
The wide receivers that got snaps in this game were Nelson Aguilar. He played 98% of the snaps. Kamar Aiken played the second most snaps. He was not even supposed to make the team earlier this year. Jordan Matthews played the third most. He wasn't on the team until this week. And Sheldon Gibson played a single snap. Kamar Aiken didn't see a target. Gibson didn't see a target. Nelson Aguilar saw 5. Yep. Matthews saw 2. Dallas Goedert, Ertz, and Perkins combined for 21 targets. Ertz saw 10. Goddard saw 7. Perkins, who is a nobody, saw 4. And then the running backs saw 9. They are so depleted at wide receiver right now that that Wentz has literally resorted to just not targeting them at all. And 7 targets out of 37 to wide receivers is a mind-blowing stat. And they need Alshon Jeffrey back more than anyone could ever imagine.
For real, they really do. And that was part of the reason that I was leaning on Aguilar. I was like, okay, he's very clearly like the best option. Even ignoring Ertz, obviously, but like Aguilar should get some looks, and I'm not exactly scared of the Colts D. I was like, okay, that's a nice spot. Like, I don't like taking obvious. Like, I'm not going to take Julio Jones or something in this contest. It's just you want to take someone slightly off the beaten path, get some pride in the selection. But holy shit! I mean, it couldn't have went much worse. What did he finish with? 5 for 25 or something? Yeah, 5 targets, 24 yards. Oh my god.
Yeah, Aguilar could have 10 receptions and probably still not hit 100 yards. There's so many short passes.
I had so much Aguilar on both sites too, so like that didn't help.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah,
that's rough.
I felt like a good. Like, I hate the Colts. They're not very good. I thought. Well, I thought
I'm changing my tune on them. Being dead honest with you on the Colts. I think that defense might be legitimate. I really do. Like, I didn't think so, but I watched them and I cannot help but think their run defense and their pass rush. That pass rush, what's his name, Hunt? They were really, really impressive. And I mean, maybe it doesn't last, but I legitimately see this Colts defense and think they are not as bad as I thought they would be. Now, are they a top defense? No, but I don't know. I don't know how much of it has to do with Carson Wentz literally had no weapons and the Colts are good, but they got through Philly's offensive line on countless occasions, and that is, widely considered the best offensive line in football. So, I'm adjusting how I approach this team now as a average to maybe slightly above average defense with at least the pass rush and run D. Whereas when the season began, I thought they were going to be bottom of the league in literally everything.
Yeah, same. They are 9th in defense on Pro Football Focus right now. I would not have expected that. They're 9th and they're 1-2.
1-2 and what?
Like their record.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I wasn't sure if you were saying like they're first in this and second in that. Yeah.
Which, if you told me that they were 9th in defense before the season started, you'd have been like, "Oh shit!" Like, and Andrew Luck's back. They must be good. Turns out Andrew Luck not so great.
I know.
Defense carrying them to 1-2.
They really did. The Eagles carrying them to 1 win.
And they beat my Redskins, those assholes.
They beat him handily too.
Yeah.
The Eagles defense definitely shut Andrew Luck down for the most part. Outside of a 33-yard run by him and a couple pass interference calls on Hilton, they got nothing going all game. Ebron led the team with 11 targets and finished with like 2 receptions or something. It was outrageous. So,
Yeah, that is
yeah,
about as frustrating as it can get for a guy that is going to be like the chalk cheap play at tight end. If you knew he got 11 targets, you're like, oh, I'm so happy I smashed Ebron. And then he got 33 yards receiving. You're like, oh, I hate this fucking sport.
I faded. I think I played like 8%. And when I was watching him get these red zone targets, I'm like, oh, no, please, no. But it's just very rare that Ebron kills you if you don't play him.
Yeah, I had him a lot on DK. I didn't have him on FanDuel.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. I ended up with a lot of Kittle. He wasn't amazing. I think he had like 13 or 14, but the tight end position in general wasn't very good this week.
It certainly wasn't.
Outside of, like expensive guys, and I guess a Kelsey or an Ertz was okay, but there wasn't really that much.
Wait, you didn't have Dallas Goedert for 20 fantasy points?
No, I didn't think about that. I did not have Dallas Goedert. What was he, minimum salary? I'm sure he was like
2,500 on DK. You didn't have Rhett Ellison for 2,500 from the Giants for 13 fantasy points? 6th highest scoring tight end?
No, I didn't. I didn't think Evan Ingram was going to go down either.
No. It's just the garbage. Kyle Rudolph, nice benefit, six targets, 3rd highest scoring tight end. It's just what a crapshoot. Yeah.
And that was all garbage time for Rudolph, or at least the touchdown. A lot of it was. Rudolph didn't do anything impressive throughout that game. That's why football can be so frustrating, because you could get everything right, but then garbage time ends up burning you, and there's so many different ways that games flow where you can be in great shape and then you just get burned at the end.
Oh, for sure. Tight end is just like such an awful position. Ricky Seals-Jones was the 10th highest scoring tight end. He had 35 receiving yards, 3 targets. He just happened to score a touchdown. If you can get a touchdown with your tight end, you've won tight end for that position, basically. Unless one of reception, like Ertz or Kelsey or Gronk goes for 40, because those are the type of guys that can.
He had 1 reception.
Yeah.
And it was for 33 yards.
Yep. Yeah. It's
it's crazy.
So frustrating.
Gronk doesn't have a red zone target on the season.
That kind of makes sense, right? I know that sounds like a ridiculous statement, but hold on, let me find the Pats. I don't want to misquote this.
I don't think they've been in the red zone much.
They've scored 57 points. They've given up 77, and they're 1-2. Like, that's, if Gronk has that, then they're probably shit.
Yeah, they haven't gotten into the. I've never seen Brady wait so long to get rid of the ball and actually just take sacks because the pocket finally collapses than I did against Detroit. There was no one open. They took Gronk out of it, and Hogan couldn't get open. Dorsett, Cordarrelle Patterson, these guys could not get open. Did you watch any of that game?
No. Well, not a ton.
Okay, well, Brady legitimately had. He was. He looked like Fitzpatrick yesterday when they take so much time for the play to develop, and by the time you're ready to get rid of the ball, it's too late. Usually Brady is a very quick decision maker.
Yeah.
He had no time. Even when he did have time, there was nothing there. It was incredible how often he had nothing downfield. I was wishing they would pan the camera downfield so I could see what he was seeing. Seriously, right now this Patriots team might not be good.
They're not good.
Like they desperately need Edelman back.
I was going to say, all right, who's their best wide receiver right now? Ignore Edelman. Who would you say is their best wide receiver? Not like who's played the best, but like who was the best?
Hogan is the guy that coming into this league everyone was going to lean on.
12 targets this season.
Yeah, his ADP in seasonal leagues was like starting off around like 10th round or whatever, and then moved all the way up to like 5th or 6th round. There was a huge hype train on Hogan, and outside of what did he have, like that one performance I think where he had 2 touchdowns or so.
He has 84 yards receiving this year.
Yeah,
he has less targets this year than Thielen had Sunday.
That's why. Yeah. Yeah, 5 less. Yeah, and even the 2 touchdown game, he only had 42 yards. I mean, he he's been a disappointment. Philip Dorsett has Philip Dorsett has been targeted more than Hogan. You know, he's
By
got I
almost
think
double.
yeah, he's got no, not targets, right?
20
He's got
targets for
19.
Dorsett.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 19
He's
or
got 20
14.
on Pro Football Focus.
Okay.
But either way, I mean, that's a lot
That's
more than
fine, yeah.
12.
Right. But Gronk in a game where Brady was playing from behind only had 5 targets. 5 targets. Gronk has less targets than Dorsett this year.
That makes
And
sense to me, though. Kind of. He's the only guy they have to worry about. The other team only has to worry about Gronk. And that seems to be working when the rest of your receivers aren't good.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I just one thing that is strange to me is Brady found ways to get Gronk the ball before. He's like, "All right, I'm throwing this. You're good. You're huge. Come down with the football." And we just haven't seen that through 3 weeks. I mean, against Jacksonville, I was willing to give him a pass
Sure.
because that's a tough defense.
Yeah.
But and I actually had Detroit to win this game. I mentioned it on the Sirius show on Sunday. I was like, Detroit will win this game. It feels like a Detroit win. They have to, because if they don't, the season is 100% over. But I didn't think they would rout Tom Brady. That was a rout. I mean, that wasn't the game wasn't even close for the entirety of the second half, and Gronk wasn't involved even a little bit. They're going to have to find ways to get Sonny Michel, used differently on the offense, and they're becoming predictable though with James White and Gronk. Like this Patriots offense right now is becoming predictable, and it's crazy to see them not being able to score points.
Yeah, Brady spent way too much time making out with his son, not like, I don't know, getting any
Bro,
better.
that is one
No?
of the most say what you want. Like I get it. He loves his kid. That's
Yeah.
great. But the kid gives him a kiss. I'm gonna piss some Patriots fans off. I know it. And then he says that was what's that? That was a peck.
Yeah.
Well, what did you want, Tom? Did you want tongue?
He's
I don't know.
in the middle of
The
a massage at that point. I thought he was going to undo his towel.
Yeah, I know. The way the head came down over top of him, it was like something I've seen in a porno, man.
I just don't understand why they kept that in the video. It's not live, like there's no need.
Right.
There's no need. Whoever cut that was probably just like, I got to keep this in. It's hilarious. There's no reason it should have been involved in any sort of video whatsoever. It should hit the cutting room floor immediately when whoever's producing that content.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Or at least use your editing skills to clip out 30 seconds of the kiss and just make it like a 2-minute kiss.
It's so hilarious and bizarre. Now, imagine how different that goes if Giselle is on the massage table and says it, because everybody's like, oh yeah, that was just a peck.
Yeah, of course.
So weird.
Of course.
Anyway,
I mean, I don't know. Look, man,
what a process.
I guess all families are different, right?
Yeah, look,
all families do.
It's not that I had a problem with it. It's just funny.
I did. Yeah.
But lots of shit's funny.
Right. It's not you have a problem with it in that you're disgusted by it. To me, I was just
hella awkward.
I don't know. I guess I didn't grow up that way. Talking to my dad.
Yeah, no, not so much.
All right, I'm done.
I'm happy to take a firm handshake from my old man. A terrifying human being for my entire childhood, in the positive way.
Imagine your dad says, what was that, a peck?"
That's not a sentence that comes out of my dad's mouth.
Right. Oh man, no, it doesn't make much sense. But hey, it is what it is. One thing I did want to mention while we're talking football here, did you see? He didn't even have to see any of it. This Houston Texans team is bad.
I just don't understand why they're bad.
It's very difficult to analyze why they're this bad. I have a few, like, okay, number one, I think Deshaun Watson's a good quarterback, but I'm not even in the slightest bit surprised that he's regressing a little bit. But he's still throwing for over 300 yards, right? You know, he's
look. Their offense has been solid per Pro Football Focus.
It has, and even against was it Tennessee? I believe it was Tennessee. They lost 20-17.
Correct.
That was a very unlucky loss. They controlled the time of possession. They had more first downs. They had way more yards. Tennessee had a fake punt and a big fourth down conversion. That's the only reason they won that game. And then Houston screwed up the 2-minute drill and ran out of time to kick a field goal at the end of the game. So they blew it themselves. But their offense was humming. So you have to ask yourself, then how is this happening? Because they're not giving up 40 points a game. Like, you lose to the Patriots in Foxborough, I get that.
Sure.
But, you know, you drop a home game to the Giants, and let's not forget, that game finished like 27-22, but they scored a touchdown with 1 second left. It meant nothing. The Giants they seeded that touchdown, no problem. So that was a 2-touchdown game that they lost by when you really look at the score, right? And then Tennessee is not a good team. They're right now, like, I don't think I have trouble trusting Lamar Miller. For me, it's basically Hopkins and Fuller. They both saw double-digit targets last week. They both saw multiple red zone targets on Sunday. They both played 100% of the offensive snaps. Those guys are going to give you good production each week. So it doesn't really matter if Houston's bad. You just have to know where you can and can't go here. And for me, until further notice, I don't think I'm going to be going to Lamar Miller because he salvaged his game with that garbage time touchdown that he caught and didn't run in. So for me, it's Hopkins and Fuller right now. I will still play Watson, but I have some serious concerns about if this team is going to be falling behind big time in games, how you can play Lamar Miller playing from behind.
Texans at the Colts this week, another team that we just talked about.
That should be a good game. I won't be playing Lamar Miller, though, I'll tell you that much.
That should be an interesting game. I'm not so sure it'll be good.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I don't
I'll
necessarily like Lamar
Hilton,
Miller. I will probably have some T.Y. Hilton as well. The Texans defense is like the weirdest thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I know a lot of the names on their team just off the top of my head, yet they're terrible. I'm going to sneeze.
Sneeze away.
Now that I said it, it's just caught up in the pipes. I think I pushed it down. Okay, cool. We're back.
Yeah, you don't. You have a tough time. What does Football Outsiders have the Texans defense?
Let's check it out. Probably not great, if I had to guess. That's Team D. Texans defense is I'm very wrong. 10th. Oh, that's through week 2. They haven't updated yet.
Of course.
So let me check it. Let me check it on Pro Football Focus.
Because this team should be better than they are. There's no reason they should be 0-3. They've faced two teams that were very beatable in the Texans or in the Titans and in who they played, the Giants.
They're 24th on Pro Football Focus in defense.
Interesting. Okay.
How do you look, you lose in New England, you lose in New England. Very reasonable.
Of course.
But at Tennessee with the Gabbert Mariota nonsense, and then just at home to the Giants is so bad. You can't drop those games. But nothing, there aren't any signs that are pointing me towards this is bad. I mean, their run blocking's pretty bad per Pro Football Focus, but I mean, obviously having Lamar Miller is probably not going to help. He's not the guy that's going to get you there, I would imagine.
Yeah, I'm not a believer in him at all.
I mean, what's there to believe? He's the 30th best running back in football, probably, or something.
And the only reason he ever has any value is because he's been a volume monster in the past. He's never performed with efficiency. It's always just been volume.
Yeah.
That's it. And outside of that, there's really nothing to like about Lamar Miller, especially on a team that's going to be playing from behind so often. I mean, quite frankly, he should be lucky that Dante Foreman is not healthy yet, because Foreman, in my opinion, is the better running back, and he's hurt because he tore his Achilles last year. He seriously, he should be glad that he's not there, because that would probably take work away from him. I just don't think Lamar Miller is any good. But here's where I wanted to go with this.
Okay.
So you have a team in Houston that's bad. You have a team in New England that we've seen them start seasons off rough and then just run the table. So
Yeah.
I'm never willing to say New England is bad.
Look, they just need to make the
Then
playoffs, and then they're
right.
good.
But then you have a Miami team that is sitting at 3-0, and their defense actually looks legitimate. I understand Jordy Nelson had a big game against them, but you don't judge a defense by one single game that a guy had. Judge them by the amount of yards and points that they're allowing, and that's why DVOA is great, because they factor in after 4 weeks they factor in opponent, they factor in they factor everything into it. So you're not just getting like how many points did they allow, or how many yards did they. There's so much more that goes into it. But you look at this game, or you look at this Miami team, and their defense, at least according to Football Outsiders, through the first 2 weeks was like ranked number 1. And I expect that to regress, but I still think they're playing like a top 10 defense regardless of opponent. Now they're on the road at Foxborough against the New England team that I'd say to some extent has their back up against the wall. Do we go back? Do we go to the Patriots here and say Belichick's going to figure this out? Like, Bill Belichick has to figure this out. Brady's going to figure this out, and they're just going to run all over Miami? Or, because I'm telling you right now, New England wins this game.
Have you seen the line?
No.
You have a guess? In New England.
Yeah, I would say the Patriots are still 8-point favorites.
It's 7 right now, so yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say 7 first. Okay.
Either way.
I mean that makes sense. That makes sense. I feel the Patriots still win this game handily.
Dolphins defense on Pro Football Focus is 27th.
Well, that's really weird, because then Football Outsiders and Pro Football Focus have entirely different, like 100% different metrics when it comes to analyzing defense.
I don't know what the balance is. Like, the Bears are first. Now, obviously, this is through week 2 on on Football Outsiders, but we know what happened in week 3. Bears are 1 on Pro Football Focus. They're 4th. And I would imagine that's not going to change all that much for them on Football Outsiders. It's not like they got bludgeoned or anything this week. Rams are 3rd on Football Outsiders, 2nd on Pro Football Focus. Phillies 9th on Outsiders. They're 3rd on Pro Football Focus. So it's crazy.
Miami on Football Outsiders has the number 1 pass defense DVOA and 5th in rush rank right now. So there's just simply no way that they're 27th seems low. Plus, the only thing I can guess is that Pro Football Focus is factoring in matchup. That's the only thing I can think of, because why else would they be that bad? They faced the Jets, Tennessee, and Oakland. So there is a very good possibility that they are factoring in matchup. And once Football Outsiders does that, they're going to plummet. Like, I could see them take a bit of a tumble, because they haven't exactly faced they have not faced premier offenses in Tennessee or the Jets or Oakland. That is what interests me the most, because I think I won't say top 10. I think Miami probably finishes the season with a top 15 defense. I feel comfortable saying that. I'll backpedal on my top 10, but they have not faced a single good offense yet. So this will be the test. But will it be the test? Because the question still remains, is this Patriots offense good right now?
No, it's not. I mean, that's got to be the answer, right? It's not.
Yeah, I'd say it's not, but it can be.
I'm not
And I
even.
think
I
it
don't
will
even know if
be.
it can be. I mean, if Edelman will obviously change the tune of everything because he's just simply
Mhm.
better. However,
And
I mean,
Brady loves him.
yeah, but like he could also get a concussion in the first 5 minutes of being back in the game. Like he's gonna get hit and
Yeah.
hit a lot, and that's scary. It'll help. I don't think they're good. I think not having Dion Lewis is the biggest miss on that team this year.
It's very possible. It's very possible. I think Sonny Michel. So I think Sonny Michel will be perfectly fine filling those shoes. And here's why I say it. Here's why I don't think Dion Lewis on Sunday night at least would have been able to do anything. Sonny Michel's lateral movement and vision was perfectly fine. Actually, his movement and his quickness was excellent, but he was swarmed by defenders. By the time,
Yeah.
if they bounced him outside, he was swarmed by the defenders, 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. There was nothing there. There was absolutely nothing there. And he had a couple really nice runs. Like I think Sonny Michel. I'm a big fan of Sonny Michel. I think he's going to be great, but uh, you can't be great when there's literally nowhere to run. It doesn't matter how good you are. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of good running backs out there that without an offensive line, and the Patriots do have an offensive line, but on Sunday they didn't. There was nothing there, is what
No.
I'm saying. I just think I think the offensive line is more important for a running back than their actual talent, and I firmly believe that. If you just look at the Eagles last year, they didn't have one running back that's like top 10 or 15 in the league, and they won the Super Bowl and they ran the ball down other opposing teams' throats because there was great blocking. The Patriots need great blocking, but they if you can't get open, none of that matters. So yeah,
And they
if you
will,
can't get
at
open.
least at some point in time, you would think, be able to work in Josh Gordon. So Gordon and Edelman
Right.
should be a nice shot in the arm.
That's a good point. You have to wonder now. Like, okay, Steve Wilkes, who head coach of the Cardinals, he he probably saw the Thursday night game and was like, "Oh shit, man, they put Baker Mayfield in. Maybe I should do that too. I got a rookie." Now, his dumbass put him in the final 2 minutes to have a rookie quarterback who has never played a snap in the NFL run a 2-minute drill against the top defense. Stupid, stupid.
Every time
But
I hear Steve Wilkes' name, I picture Steve Wilkos, the bodyguard from
yeah,
Jerry Springer.
yeah, he had his. Hey, don't sell him short. He had his own show.
He did.
He
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 did.
sh- he managed to shed that identity. Um,
He did. And then he got
yeah,
a DUI like 6 months ago.
did he?
Yeah.
I didn't even know he still existed.
I just Googled
But
it now. That's the only reason I know that. It's not information I just have.
but yeah, so I was like, what? But
Really, I'm
without
really big into Steve Wilkos, man. You have no idea. I Google. I get push alerts to my phone when anything he does happens.
right, his YouTube channel. That's great. Now, Josh Gordon, though, what I'm saying is, Wilkes did that. He put him in, and I'm not saying there's a chain reaction here, of course, but I am wondering, like, is Belichick going to go back and evaluate last week's game? Look how Brady had nobody open, and say, you know what, and obviously Gordon had the hamstring injury, but if Gordon's healthy enough to play, is he going to? Is he going to say, we're not only going to get him in there, but he is going to be heavily involved in this offense because
He
Josh
needs to
Gordon
be.
could make a massive difference.
Yeah, yeah. Belichick needs to sit down, roll a joint, and hand it to Gordon, and be like, "Look, man, you just got to tell me what you need." Because I think
Right?
this could work
Right?
here, but we need to find a balance. You need clean urine. We
Right.
can figure this out.
Exactly. There's ways
We're
to
the
get around
we're
it.
the
Yeah,
Patriots here. We know how to skimp on the edges.
there's no way the Patriots haven't helped players get around um some urinalysis test before. There's just no way. I mean, it's happened.
Sure.
I feel confident about that.
Oh, well, you have to. The Wizinator.
Yep, of course.
There was
Hey,
something we were talking about the Texans before, and I just wanted to say this because I thought it stood out. This is totally random, has no tie to anything we're saying right now. Clowney this year, 125 snaps, How many sacks, hits, and hurries do you think he has this season?
Well, I'm going to have to say 0 sacks, 1 hit, 3 hurries.
0 sacks, 0 hits, 1 hurry.
Wow. What?
125 total snaps.
Ooh.
He has the second most pass rushes of the entire team. Played in 2 games. He has 70. Watt has 91. Clowney is next. He has essentially sniffed the quarterback once on those 70 plays.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, that just goes, God, having, a lot of things about a defense are important, right?
Yeah.
But cornerbacks aren't important if you don't have a pass rush.
Yes.
I mean, obviously they all play their role. But if you don't have a pass rush, the quarterback has time to, wide receivers, once you break off from your route and start running around and start improvising, like do that. Try not having a pass rush against Carson Wentz. When guys can improvise, when he actually has a healthy offense. Try doing that against Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees or Phillip Rivers. I want to say Brady, but God, he did. They did have a bit of a pass. They did have a pass rush actually. So they're the fact that they're not. How many? Do you know how many sacks Houston has as a team? Because they just faced the Giants. Before you answer, they just faced the Giants. They should have 6 sacks in week 3 alone.
Okay, so we'll give 2 numbers. We'll give the amount of sacks that J.J. Watt has, and then we'll have the number that's the rest of the team. J.J. Watt has
all of the team sacks.
J.J. Watt has 4. The rest of the team has 4.
Okay.
J.J. Watt has 12 sacks, hits, and hurries. And so does the rest of the team. 12 to 12. It's Watt, and then everyone else equals Watt.
Okay.
Clowney, man. You playing like a Clowney.
So they got 8 sacks through 3 games. It's not horrible.
It's not great. Look, they don't have 8. Look, J.J. Watt's got 4. He's going to finish with 15 if he keeps going. And everyone else is going to have 12 total. I mean, look, they're not going to be any good if Clowney gets to the quarterback once in 60 plays.
Here's what I'm going to look up. On Pro Football Focus, you can look at pass rush. So this year, because this should come as a surprise to no one, the Eagles rank first in pressure.
Yes.
Because they just get a lot of pressure with that D line and those edge rushers. And Fletcher Cox is a freak of nature, by the way. Chicago Bears, we know why. They're second. They're right behind. The Eagles and Bears are head and shoulders above everyone else.
Yes, they are.
And then let's see. The Texans are 19th.
Which is hilarious to think about, that J.J. Watt has carried them all the way to almost neutral.
Absolutely. Well, also hilarious, even equally hilarious to think that they have Jadeveon Clowney and they're 19th. Like they should be top 10 easily.
Just by default. By default, they should be in the top 10 of pass rush if those guys are playing.
Oh, certainly.
They have the 2 most snaps in the pass rush. So it's not as if like they're not doing it.
Right. So the Eagles don't have the greatest cornerbacks, but their coverage is still 13th.
Yeah.
And a lot of that would have to do with, getting pressure on the quarterback. Although I'm not sure how they calculate this. But
same.
Houston's pass coverage, pass coverage, 29th.
Mm-hmm.
29th.
Yeah, J.J. Watt is literally doing everything he can to keep that team afloat.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, 100%. And then where are they at? I always find tackling interesting as well.
So do
Houston, 24th. When you can't solo tackle, when you can't bring guys down behind the line of scrimmage and they end up with a 20-yard gain. Yeah, so their defense everywhere outside of run defense, they have a top 10 run defense so far, has been dreadful, and their overall defensive rank is 24th, as you mentioned earlier. So that's no pressure, which is crazy.
And then can't tackle.
Pass coverage, tackling, it's all garbage.
Yeah, if you're not sacking the quarterback and you can't tackle, it's gonna be a long season. I'm just guessing. At least.
Yeah, I love looking at these numbers, though, man.
So do I.
You could look over this stuff all day. And the run blocking on offense is also 29. So you have no pass rush. You have no pressure. Your pass coverage is bad. A lot of that being that you're not getting pressure on the quarterback. And then they have no run blocking. So you can't really sustain drives like you would like to unless you're putting the ball in Deshaun Watson's hands exclusively and having him do what he has to do, which is not what you want to do with a second-year guy that is good, but probably not as good as he was last year in the 7 games that we saw him. So I think we've done a decent job here of assessing what's going on with Houston. And now it matters. Now what matters is how you take that in, how you use that information going forward.
Man, that Colts game is going to be interesting. What's the line? What do you think the line is?
Where is the game?
Indianapolis.
Colts minus 4.5.
Ooh, very wrong. Colts minus 1.5.
Huh. Really? Okay. So you know what? Okay, I would take. I don't know how I don't take the Colts. So Vegas, you look at the line. You don't. It takes time to adjustment on certain things. Like so, Houston is probably still viewed as decent. Patriots are still viewed as good.
Yeah.
The Colts being only one, that would mean that they would be 2-point dogs if this game was in Houston.
Right.
I don't think that makes a lot of sense. I know the Colts only have one more win than the Texans, but are you about to tell me that through 3 weeks the Colts haven't played markedly better than Houston has? Because in my opinion, they have, and they face tougher teams.
I don't know what to think. I think they're both bad. Colts pass blocking rank is 26th. So I think that'll tell a big story. If anybody can get to the quarterback that's not named J.J. Watt, they might be in trouble because the Colts can't pass block. But
right.
It's like the reverse immovable object, irresistible force thing. Both, like the Texans can't get there and the Colts can't stop anybody. So that should be a really entertaining battle of lack of talent.
Yeah, it should. I'm just really surprised they're only 1.5 point favorites, but I guess it makes sense. People are still gonna be on this Houston team. I could see Houston going to 0-4 though. I really could. I don't think I'd be surprised at all. You look at the formula. You look at the formula for teams that win. Like the Rams are number 1 in pass blocking, and they're number 2 in pass coverage. Their pass rush isn't spectacular, but it's still the 6th best in the league. Like those things are huge. You look at a team like the Houston, they've got nothing. Now, if you look at the Colts, they are 16th in pass rush, which is surprising to me because in the games that I've watched, they've actually done a pretty solid job. They're 4th in pass coverage. That's pretty impressive. They're 4th in pass coverage.
Yeah.
And then they are 12th in run defense. So they are not. That's what's surprising. That's why I don't know. Where let's see. Pro Football Focus total defense has the Colts 9th.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I think they win.
I'd like to think that they do too.
But I think Hilton can have I think you can get a big game here from T.Y. Hilton because this game should be close. Unless Houston's getting a ton of pressure on Luck, which we haven't seen yet, there's a very high likelihood that Hilton has a big game. The problem with Hilton this year has been that he is Luck. Frank Reich with this system, he's not throwing deep. He has Luck not airing the ball out much at all. He did once, got a pass interference call on it to Hilton, but you're not seeing those deep balls to Hilton nearly as often, if at all, this season, and that definitely caps his upside a bit. That would be my only concern.
Longest catch for T.Y. Hilton so far, 29 yards.
Yeah. And he can create yards after the catch for sure.
Yeah, Texans 29th
No
in
doubt.
coverage. That plays pretty well to
Mhm.
T.Y. Hilton, I would guess.
Oh yeah, it should help him quite a bit. I wanted to look up.
Hey, big news.
What's that?
My new iPhone shipped today. Comes in tomorrow.
Nice. What'd you get?
The XS or whatever, the Max, the fucking huge thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Nice.
excited.
I have the X.
Okay.
For the X Max, that is, I think it's the same with a bigger screen and a cooler camera.
I think so.
But
Yeah.
what do you
I still have
now?
the 7 Plus, so this is my 2-year window.
Okay.
So
I had the 6S Plus before that. I usually wait until they come out with like the big upgrades, because often, for like 2 years they won't really do anything special at all to change it. And then once they did the X, which was like the 10-year anniversary, you knew that there would be some good stuff. But I'm a sucker for the iPhones. I wish I wasn't.
it just works really well. The reason I didn't even care so much about like trying to get the new one last year, because like my phone still works really well. It's
Right. Mine
good.
doesn't.
Battery's great. Everything opens and it's fine. So I was just like, oh, well, I mean, I guess I'll get this. It's not costing me a dime to get it. So
What do you mean it's not costing you a dime?
I'm through I'm already through my contract or whatever. So the phone itself was just essentially free.
What? What provider do you have?
AT&T?
You got to pay per month.
Well,
You
yeah,
gotta-
I
you
mean, I
gotta
have a
pay-
phone bill.
No. I mean, you pay the phone over a 2-year installment period.
Sure.
Oh,
No
okay.
upfront cost is what I'm saying to me.
Oh, right. I used to like the upfront cost because you could do an upgrade and you pay like $200 for the phone and you don't have a monthly bill. Now it's like $45 a month every month on top of your bill. I switched to Xfinity Mobile, by the way,
Okay.
because my AT&T bill was ridiculous, and now I just pay per gig, and I pay like $20 a month for my phone bill because I
Jesus.
work from home and I'm always on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty sweet, man.
Yeah, I probably needed to make some sort of move like that. But I get I shouldn't say this out loud because I feel like the technology will make it get back to AT&T and I'm going to jinx myself. But I had like a discount code from my previous employer that lopped off 25% of my bill, and it hasn't gone away.
That's nice.
And I haven't been there for 6 months. So hope that holds.
Yeah, damn right. Damn right.
Yeah.
Who do you think? Wow, God. I'm looking at yards after catch.
Okay.
Juju Smith-Schuster leads the league in yards after catch by 50 yards.
That sounds about right.
Unbelievable. How is that even possible? I mean, even his yards after catch per reception is top 20, which is insane. Just absolutely insane. He's been targeted more than Antonio Brown over the past 2 weeks by a pretty decent margin. It's this guy is as legit as they come, man. And then they have James Washington too. God, I don't know how you're going to stop them. And Roethlisberger looked like his old self again last night. It's insane.
I love Bugs. I hate that his career is almost over. Michael Fitch in the chat. Thanks, I'm an AT&T rep. Come on, man. See, this is why I don't talk out. That's why I don't talk about shit.
Was he gonna find you? And
I swear to God, if my phone bill is like $140 next month, I'm coming for you, Michael Fitch, and then I'll comp you an Awesemo.com account or something.
I'd be messed up, Michael. It's free video. All our videos are free right now.
I'm here to help.
Yeah. Riveting conversation on phone bills.
Yeah.
But yeah, this week though, going back to actual NFL discussion, there are some games that I just have zero interest in. And then there are some that I have no idea what to do with yet. It's still early in the week, but you have 2 games with a 50+ total. That's Cincinnati, Atlanta, and the Giants and New Orleans. What the hell am I going to do with that game? I mean, I guess I just have to load up on Saquon Barkley and Odell Beckham and ride that.
Did you see the total for the Monday night game? Kansas City at Denver?
No.
56.
56.
Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Why am I not seeing that? Huh.
Yeah.
Why the fuck am I not seeing that? Huh. I had the Thursday through Monday games. I had them all pulled up. That's weird. 56.
Yep. That's healthy. It makes for a fun showdown slate, right? I guess.
Well, the spread's got to be 12 points or something crazy then.
Kansas City by 4.5.
No, it's in Kansas City?
In Denver.
Oh, okay. Even so, what? Dude, these lines have got to move. That's insane. If Kansas City on the road, I would put them at least 7-point favorites with the way they've played. Denver's not a good team.
Oh, God, Kansas City's defense is so trash.
They are really bad. They're undoubtedly terrible, but they're still winning by sizable margins. Every single week.
They're 31st in the league. They've given up 92 points, but they're 31st in defense per Football Focus. You know what I'm really excited about now that we just said this?
What's that?
That Pat Mahomes isn't a part of the main slate.
Yeah, tell me about it. That is a very valid point. You don't even have to worry about it anymore because that would be a tough decision to make against Denver.
Yeah. I'm looking at the salaries now, and I was like, oh, where's Mahomes? I was like, yeah, Monday night game. Rodgers is the most expensive quarterback this week. 6,800 on DK.
Playing on one leg. Dude, Denver's pass coverage ranks 27th this year. That is a surprising number there. Their defense has not been as advertised at all. At all.
You said Rodgers playing on one leg. He's 5th in passing on Pro Football Focus, man. This guy doesn't even need a leg.
Yeah, he's a beast. I mean, just because he's on, he could be playing on nubs and he would still be good. But
who's the play this week at quarterback? Let's look.
By the way, Kansas City, just listen to this real quick.
I'm ready.
31st in pass coverage, 32nd in tackling, 31st in overall defense. Where are they at? Run defense is 19th, but I think a lot of that's the fact that teams haven't needed to run on them at all. They are everywhere, this team, outside of pass rush, where they get a decent pass rush. This defense, I think the Chiefs are the best fantasy team we've ever. If they sustain this type of production on both ends, they'll be the best fantasy team in the history of football because of how good their offense is and how bad their defense is.
Yeah, probably. It's going to be really nuts. It's going to make pricing really crazy for those guys too.
Yeah, like Tyreek Hill being as egregiously expensive as he is.
Let's see. Where are the Niners ranked? Niners are the worst defense in football. Phillip Rivers, 6,500, 4th most expensive wide receiver. Or 4th most expensive quarterback. I love Rivers this week, but I don't think I'll be in the minority.
I like him too. I was thinking, I am honestly considering CJ Beathard.
What's his price? 4,600.
Here's why.
Go for it.
This Chargers defense,
real bad.
Now, yeah, let's give them the benefit of the doubt in that they have faced some tough teams, right? They faced 2, Kansas City, and they've allowed 35 points. They allowed 20 points to Buffalo and 38 points to Kansas City. Yardage totals, they've allowed a lot, right? They allowed 520. No, sorry. Yes, they allowed 350 passing yards and 171 rushing yards to the Rams. 521. They allowed almost 300 total yards of offense to Buffalo, which is a lot considering it's Buffalo, and 362 total yards to Kansas City. The only reason that wasn't more is because Kansas City had a big lead and Hill scored on a punt return or a punt return. Yeah,
Right.
This offense or this defense is definitely struggling right now. Is okay, and Joey Bosa is not going to be back until October.
That was my next question. Will Bosa be around? I didn't think that he would be, but
not until October. And this defense clearly is not the same without him. So
makes for a decent game stack coming back the other way too.
Definitely. Yeah, you kidding? Yeah, absolutely. Like I think this game has a decent amount of potential. I know it sounds crazy, but all right. CJ Beathard's a 10.5-point dog. They're gonna have to chuck it. 47-point over under. I'm obviously with you in that Rivers makes a lot of sense. I think Melvin Gordon is a spectacular play as well. The 49ers run defense is 28th right now. It's just been pure garbage.
Yeah,
they rank
Go ahead.
31st in tackling. How about this? 32nd in pass coverage. Take it a step further. Even special teams, the 49ers are bottom 12. And then and then in pressure, they are 22nd. So just god awful. Like they're bad everywhere. You could stack this team to the gills, and I still think. Okay, so remember they played Buffalo, and then you saw like Melvin Gordon got a cramp and came out or whatever, and these guys weren't really used heavily in the second half. I could still see San Francisco at least making a remotely competitive game where the Chargers need to continue scoring, because I think they'll still find ways to put points on the board. And like Garoppolo last week, did you get great numbers from him? No, you didn't get great numbers from him, but he also got hurt, and they were inside the 10-yard line. He had 22 fantasy points. Wasn't a bad game at all. He left with like 6 minutes remaining. I'd like to believe that he would have done a little bit more. Even though I'm not sure they ever got the ball back, but still not a bad game from Garoppolo. Tore his ACL, 251, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 22 points, not horrible whatsoever.
No.
But Beathard's 4,600. Is it possible that CJ Beathard could give you 20? I think it absolutely is. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, and you can, because of his price point, it's really easy to bring like Keenan Allen back with it. Allen's 8,300, but
oh yeah,
if you're willing to go that direction, I think that's a decent look. Goodwin's only 4,800, Garcon 4,600, Kittle 4,200. If you want to do a game stack, there's a reasonable stance to take that you can get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh God, CJ Beathard is so bad.
and it's probably not necessary. I'm just throwing it out there. I haven't played a dirt cheap quarterback this season, but like I would play him over the Sam Bradfords of this world, even though he's benched. You know what I'm saying? I'd play him over the Blaine Gabberts. There are a bunch of guys down there I'd play him ahead of, and I don't know. The quarterback position just isn't that deep. Like, I'm not a believer in Mitch Trubisky.
No, nor should you be.
No, absolutely not. I mean, the guy, come on, no touchdowns and 1 interception and a lost fumble against Arizona. And then who else? Like you mentioned Rivers. I think that's definitely the play, at least one of them.
Yeah.
You're not playing Dak Prescott. He doesn't throw more than 6 yards downfield at a time. The guy doesn't have
5,300. How good has Detroit's defense been so far? Not good, right?
Dude.
Or am I crazy?
He hasn't passed for more than 170 yards in a game.
That doesn't mean he can't.
Like, here's what it means: that you just play Ezekiel Elliott. Like, honestly, Cole Beasley, Allen Hurns, Michael Gallup, Deontay Thompson. These are the weapons that this team has.
Lions 29th in defense.
Rico Gathers. You want some Jeff Swaim? You want some? I can't, dude. I can't do it. I just don't think there's any upside at all. I would rather go CJ Beathard. Not even joking.
Oh God. Dak's 3 games, 170 yards passing on 16 attempts, 160 yards passing on 13 attempts.
I know.
168 yards passing on 34 attempts. Oh, was I reading the wrong line there? Yeah, I was. I was reading the fucking score like a moron. 16
29,
attempts,
25, and 34.
Yeah. So the way that they had the score listed, it looked like completions and attempts, and then I realized that the first number was a 20 and the second number was a 13, and I was a moron.
Oh, you figured it out. No big deal.
I think I like Dak this week.
I think you are mistaken, sir.
What's the line on that game? It's probably relatively high, right? Nope, 43 and a half.
So, deep ball attempts this season. Dak Prescott 5, completed 1, 64 yards total on deep balls this season. Like, the only guys that have been worse than him are Luck, Bortles, Mariota, and Mayfield, and Gabbert, of course. Let's see. I
was checking to see if Dak had any like really ridiculous home road splits for his career, but he doesn't. He's the same person.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Adjusted completion percentage on deep balls. Dak is 17th. Hold on. Let's see. Where is I just wanted to see his yards per attempt. Dak Prescott yards per attempt.
How bad?
Dude. 5.7. The only quarterback with a worse yards per attempt, Nick Foles, Tyrod Taylor, Blaine Gabbert, and then Luck and Bradford. That's not good company.
No, it's certainly not.
I mean, can he turn it around? It's possible. Do I think he will? Probably not. I also think Detroit's defense is better. Darius Slay healthy. Like, I just think that's a better defense than we thought. He's thrown 2 touchdowns through 3. I can't do it. I can't buy into Dak Prescott here. I just can't.
I got the play for you.
Hit me.
Russell Wilson.
Who's
at Arizona? Salary 5,600.
I can dig it. I can get on board with that.
I think that's worth a look.
What
do we know about Baldwin?
I also don't think Carson Wentz is crazy at 5,800.
Yeah, I would agree. You just got to start throwing passes to Aguilar or something.
Yeah, I guess that's the problem. If Alshon Jeffrey's back, I'll definitely consider Wentz at that price. Absolutely, I'll consider him there. Who else do we have at the top? Drew Brees is always going to be in play.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting because that game is a 3.5 point spread. Like, Saints are only favored by 3.5 points. I gotta say, I think Brady, you have to consider. I think Brady's gonna have one of those games where he just erupts for like 6 touchdowns and an 80% completion rating. Like, it's going to happen. So yeah, but we just went through this kind of briefly. Quarterback's not that deep. Brady, Breeze, no. Rivers. I think Rivers is. You mentioned him first. That's probably your cash game play.
Yeah, it kind of has to be. I mean, you can make a case for Breeze.
You could, sure. And you can make a case for Brady, I think, just because the
I don't know,
circumstances.
man.
I'm not a narrative guy, but when it comes to Brady, I am because I think Belichick and him, when you need to win, they win and they win convincingly. But outside of that, like I still wouldn't even play Wilson in cash. Like I think
No.
he's a great tournament play, but that offense does not look very good right now. I'm not buying into the offense. And without um Doug Baldwin, they just they don't look good. And
Yeah, I only
you
like
still
him
don't
if Baldwin can play this week.
right. That would be a big difference because look, Brandon Marshall's not the number 2 receiver you want, or number 1. Tyler Lockett, your number 2, however you want to call it. I,
That's not 10 years
that's
ago.
why, right, exactly. That's why Bedard to me is not the craziest play. I think you could do crazier,
Oh,
and you
I
can't
think
play.
that there's a very good scenario where that can work out for you and allow you to get to a lot of talent elsewhere.
Yeah, you know, it's. I would love to say like Andrew Luck. Let's play Andrew Luck. He's so cheap, but Andrew Luck's yards per attempt is literally
Negative.
it's the second it's the second lowest behind only Sam Bradford. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's not exactly like his normal MO.
No.
Can you
Now
imagine if it
Frank
was
Reich's
behind Bradford? How bad he'd have to be? Jesus.
that would be really scary. That'd be terrifying, actually.
Yeah, Breeze and
So,
Rivers
yeah,
have to be the pretty clear cut cash plays, I think.
I think you're right. Yeah, Breeze, Rivers, and then you pretty much just go from there. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if Bethard catches steam throughout the week and becomes a popular play. I would not be
Remember
surprised.
where you heard it first, people. Process show Tuesdays,
That's right.
September 25th.
And you know what it'll come down to? Because I haven't looked over the skill positions yet. It'll come down to how badly you want to get these guys into your lineups. Like how many of these players you need to fit into your lineups. And if you feel like you need to jam in some top running backs and there's not value at running back or receiver, then you might be forced to take that direction. I'm looking for cheap defenses and there's there's not a whole lot that stands out to you, put it that way.
Yeah, I'm really liking the Phillip Rivers Keenan Allen cash pairing.
I like it too. I'd have no problem pairing Melvin too.
Yeah,
Run it back with like George Kittle or Marcus Goodwin or something.
yeah. I'm gonna build it now.
Oh,
Rivers,
here's your defense. The
Allen.
Bears are 2,600 against Tampa in Chicago.
Wait, say that again.
Your defense. The Bears are 2,600 at home against Tampa.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm in.
I mean, do you have like let's see real quick. The Steelers defense last night, they gave up a bunch of points, right? But I'm assuming they probably still put up pretty decent numbers with all of their interceptions and there was a pick six, right? Like I think this is probably a team. Are the Steelers on a bye this week?
No, no. Week 4?
Yeah, bye
Maybe.
week start week 4 each
No,
year.
they're Sunday night game, home against
Oh,
Baltimore.
okay. Sunday night.
51 point total.
51
Yeah.
against Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
What in the shit? That's kind of weird. Um, bye week. Panthers and Redskins have a bye this week.
I did know that actually.
So those are the two teams with a bye week. Um, yeah, but that Bears defense has just been so damn ferocious that I have no problem playing them against a mistake-prone Fitzpatrick, even if he throws. Like, even if the guy throws a few touchdowns, you're still talking about a scenario where they come up with big numbers here. Like the Steelers defense yesterday had 17 fantasy points. And Tampa scored 27.
That's
They,
hard to do that.
3 sacks. Yeah. 3 sacks, 3 interceptions, a fumble recovery, and a defensive touchdown. And they allowed, 455 total yards and 27 points. Like, points against means nothing with defenses. It's so irrelevant. Give me the Bears. Give me the Bears, man.
I just locked them in now. How much money do I have left here? All right. Rivers at quarterback. 2 running backs. This is what I have in here right now in the lineup that I just built while we're on here, and then we'll get out of here when I'm done. Gio Bernard. This is assuming no Mixon. At Atlanta, so great place to play.
9 targets this Sunday, by the way.
12 carries too. I mean, he's expensive for what you need, 6,300, but I think that fits pretty well. Opportunity should be there. Again, this only works if Mixon's out. Ezekiel Elliott.
Falcons also gave up a ton of receptions to running backs last year.
Yes. You could slot in Zeke at 7,700 if you want to. And drop down to, I don't know, Fournette if you'd like, if he's healthy. Or go to, nope, can't get to Barkley. Not that I would want to. Wide receivers, Keenan Allen paired with Rivers. No brainer. Randall Cobb. Tons of targets this week. What do you have? 11 targets this week. 10 targets in week 1. He's just seeing the ball a lot, so I think that's decent for 5,100. Keelan Cole. Jags get the Jets, so I'm willing to take a chance on a guy that got 9 targets last week, 8 the week before. Just seems fine. Kittle bringing it back against Rivers. Got to stick with Eric Ebron if he's going to be 3,600, makes it easier. And then your Bears D. I like that line.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I'm all right. Yeah, looks pretty solid to me.
Yeah.
Going cheap at defense is just the way to do it. I mean, and once in a while, the expensive ones will pay off, but holding a team to like 10 points doesn't really mean much. You want the turnovers. You want the sacks.
You need... You're shooting for a score, basically. Or just an overwhelmingly aggressive... You want the opposite of what the Texans have been doing. Getting after the quarterback, covering people, normal shit.
Right, and Fitzpatrick can very much facilitate some turnovers.
Oh, he could easily go go out and throw 4 picks. Easy.
Well, actually, the question is it going to be Winston or Fitzpatrick?
I think it has to be Fitz, right?
I don't know, but if it's Winston, I like Chicago even more.
I think they need... Yeah, I agree. I think it has to be Fitz until they're not good. Maybe good isn't the right word, but like...
He almost brought him back from like a 20-point deficit. It was a 20-point deficit, and they were marching. He almost brought him back after he made a lot of mistakes and still had a monster. He's the first quarterback in the Super Bowl era, maybe ever, to throw 400 yards in 3 consecutive games. That's insane, dude. That is insane what Ryan Fitzpatrick has done thus far. Just in case you're wondering, yards per attempt, he leads the league by 1.5 yards. Like he's number 1 by 1.5 yards. That's a big margin.
That's a huge margin.
Yes, yards, he leads the league. And even completion percentage, he's 5th. Or no, he's 6th, tied with Jared Goff. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely absurd. The guy's 2nd in touchdowns, but he's also thrown the 6th most interceptions, and he's going to make mistakes, and you can easily take advantage of that.
He was 30 of 50 last night.
Mm-hmm. And I know you didn't see much of that game. Dude, he throws an interception, comes back, and just airs one out for 50 yards. Like, he doesn't care, and that's great. It's great if you're playing Fitzpatrick, and it's great if you're playing defenses against him, because the guy will he's not going to go 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions all the time. Like, it's just not going to happen.
No, it's not. Fitz. He's the 5th most expensive quarterback this week.
I know. I'm not playing him against Chicago though.
Can you imagine telling like us having this conversation? Let's say before Jameis got suspended, we're like, yo, Ryan Fitzpatrick's the 5th most expensive quarterback in week 3. You'd be like, what the fuck happened? Or week 4. What happened in the first 3 weeks?
Absolutely absurd. I mean, if you told me he'd have 100-yard or 400-yard game, or maybe he'd have 2 4-touchdown games, I'd be like, I could see it, because he's all over the map. You never know what you're going to get from Fitz, but we haven't seen that really bad game where he can't get anything at all going yet. And I think that could come this week against Chicago if he starts. And even if it doesn't, you're still going to get some production from the defense.
Do you think he gets any ownership this weekend?
Yeah, I think he still will. People like 400 yards and 4 touchdowns guys, you know?
I can almost guarantee I'll have 0 of that game.
Yeah, outside of the defense, I won't.
Yeah. Like
outside of the BSD, I don't think I will.
I mean, what am I going to do? Bring Allen Robinson back on the opposite side of a buck stack? Give me a break.
Yeah. I will have I probably will have some Allen Robinson though, just as a one-off though. That Tampa Bay defense is not good at all.
No. Yeah. God, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm excited. Week 4, baby. Woo.
Yeah, this is going to be a good week. I feel it in my bones.
I'm going to win some money this week.
Yeah, let's do it. Tampa Bay's defense just is yeah. Hey, it's doable, man. Tampa's defense is literally right in the middle of the road. And I don't think they're all that good. They've hemorrhaged. Even if they're decent, they've hemorrhaged so many points and yards that it doesn't even matter at this rate. So, yep, I am going to have maybe a little bit of Robinson because I like that he's being targeted quite a bit. But aside from that, I don't know. They've given up 40. They gave up 30 to Pittsburgh, 21 to terrible Nick Foles, and then 40 to the Saints. Maybe there's no way I'm playing Trubisky here, but Robinson, maybe sprinkle a little bit of Burton in.
Yeah.
The question is, will I play any Jordan Howard? And I think he's too expensive for me. Just no ceiling on this guy.
6,800.
He should be 5,800.
He is this, hold on, clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's the 6th most expensive running back.
Yeah, that's way too much. Way too much.
It really is. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, man, I love talking football. I could do it all day. And by the way, last thing I'll say, I think if there was ever a week to play Ezekiel Elliott, it's this week. I could see Zeke just going off for a monster game, and he's a lot cheaper than Gurley, and he's 500, 600 cheaper than Bell. He's 400 cheaper than Barkley. I think this could be the week where Zeke has a monster game. He had 9 targets last week in the passing game.
3 catches, 11 yards is gross, but yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. Or 8 targets, but we'll take that. We'll take the targets.
Yeah, 16 carries, 127 yards, and his long was only 26, so it's not like he buoyed that on like an 80-yard break or something. That was just
right, and
success over and over again.
And that was 16 targets playing from behind in Seattle.
Yeah.
He's played from behind in 2 games of 3, and against the Giants he just wasn't that great. But if I had to guess, this is the game where Zeke sees like 30 carries.
I'm in. I just had him in this makeshift lineup that we built. So Team Zeke.
Yeah, I'm on it. And the Cowboys defense is good enough to, force some mistakes out of Stafford and set up good field position too.
Yeah, the fat mats are very unreliable on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely.
Good shit. Well, good shit. We'll be touching on more NFL Thursday for sure. We can go through we'll go through some fantasy cruncher stuff. Take a look at pricing. I assume we'll have some projections to look at and everything. So we could dig in on some lineup construction for Thursday.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Thursday will be straight lineup construction and strategy discussion for this slate, because we dipped our feet in, but
Yeah,
we'll go head first on Thursday.
that we will. That's it, everybody. If you have any questions for us on Thursday, load them up. We're going to do a very thorough process show. This was not a lot to talk about on a Tuesday, so we kind of got a little broad with it, but I enjoyed myself. Seems like everybody enjoyed themselves.
Yeah, it's football, man. How can you not?
Hey, we maintain the same viewership even during our brief cell phone discussion, so I'll take what we can get.
No, yeah, fuck these guys. I'm out of here.
All right, best of luck to everybody. Oh, go ahead.
T-Mobile.
I had T-Mobile down here. I hated those pricks.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really shitty service when I moved to Wilmington in 2009.
I have Boost Mobile.
There you go.
I don't.
Yeah,
do you not remember Boost?
I do. I love dealing drugs.
That's exactly what it was. Where are you at? All right, I'll stop. It's just getting out of control.
Best of luck to everybody tonight from A to B coming up at 2:30. Andrew and Ben will have the deeper dive. Lofty running it back with Adam, probably in the 4:45 to 5 o'clock range, somewhere in there, 14 gamer. And then myself and Chris live 6 p.m. or 6 and change p.m. until lock, breaking down this lovely 14 game slate. Check it all out, everybody. We're out of here. Bye.